They say our lives are naught but a fleeting dream, that in cosmological terms a human lifetime begins, fizzles, burns brightly and quietly smoulders to its conclusion in the blink of an eye. And that may be, but it feels longer, especially when you're stuck in a queue or watching a progress bar or sitting in an uncomfortable chair staring directly at a clock while a man reads 1,000 depressing poems about municipal car parks.
The problem is the crushing loneliness of it all. If only we had someone else to experience things with, the whole thing might be somehow bearable. We are all of us alone. We enter this world alone and we leave it alone.
But with the invention of television, loneliness seemed to have been cured forever. Even if you stayed indoors 365 days of the year, your home would be filled with friendly human voices.
You don't matter. You're not important. You're not a person. You're not even lovable. You're not even capable of love.
Most of us somehow struggle through our daily routine in the sure knowledge that we're fundamentally alone, only occasionally being overpowered by the sheer aching pointlessness of it all. This man, for instance, has seen an advert for a remake of The French Connection starring Justin Bieber and has simply given up. What he needs is someone to love him. But then everyone wants someone to love them, even though no one knows what love is.
What would you say love is?
Love is a deep connection between two or more people.
Sorry, I have no conception of what that might be.
To make things worse, most of our romantic know-how comes courtesy of a flickering fibbing machine which can break any relationship before it begins. This week, how TV ruined your love life. Don't say it didn't, it did. According to television, the best way to end loneliness for good is to trick another human being into sharing your lifespan with you, to meet someone and fall in love. But what is love anyway?
When you're trying to work out whether you're in love or not, it's only natural to compare how you feel with what you've been taught about how being in love feels. And who taught you how being in love feels? Well, without ever really trying, the television bombarded you with misguided notions about romance from the moment you were first naive enough to swivel your eyes in its fibbing direction.
According to research, when it comes to getting information about love, 94% of young people turn to their television, while only 33% ask mum and 17% dad. But the plug-in parent is a liar, and the fictional world it portrays seeps into your skull, setting a misleading framework. There are two ways to ensure your relationship will be scuppered before it's even begun. One is to carve the phrase, "I despise you," onto your forehead, and the other is to enter into it with wildly unrealistic expectations. Now, studies show a link between the amount of television people watch and the likelihood that they'll believe certain unhelpful relationship myths. Chief among these myths is the notion that there's a singular soulmate out there in the world for you. The thought that out of the many millions of people in the world, there's only one that truly belongs with you. One person. That's your helping. One. Of course, for this to be true, there'd have to be a celestial department of destiny whose job it is to pair people off like producers on a reality show. The other key thing about this soulmate is that they're psychic. They automatically know what you're thinking and can virtually finish your sentences for you, like the irritatingly twee potential bum buddies in this online dating pitch, who find themselves making a sound so sweet it's like listening to the Carpenters. Not the band, just a pair of random workmen.
I like old movies.
I like old movies.
Like Godfather 3.
What's Godfather 3?
Godfather 3.
Oh, Godfather 3.
Considered the best one.
It's not considered the best one.
Will you me? We've become so accustomed to seeing characters pairing off with one another like that, it's now almost impossible to see a man and woman together on screen at once without internally speculating over whether they're going to have sex or not. That's why presenters often work best as a male-female duo, as in the haunting Daybreak pairing of Blakely and Childs.
Oh, I bet they're doing it.
Or the cheery Turnbull and Williams.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet they're doing it.
Sexual chemistry also piques interest in talent shows like the glittering Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh, I hope they're not going to do it.
And turns stylish, suspenseful whodunits like CSI into unsettling will they, won't they scenarios.
Well, I think they're about to do it.
Oh, do it, come on, do it. The first step towards falling in love is to find someone attractive, which you'd think would be a fairly organic process that occurs without much conscious effort on your part. But the chances are television has warped your notions of physical beauty by parading inordinately attractive people in front of you morning, noon and night, thus raising your expectations to unsustainable heights while simultaneously making you feel inferior. It's telling that when you encounter somebody who's attractive in real life, they often seem faintly unreal, like they've been somehow photoshopped into your world by the media. Of course, people in the media often have been photoshopped, or at least tweaked and coiffured. Faces like mine, which resemble a sort of supernatural medical experiment in which the agonised spirits of the dying submariners of the Kursk have been injected inside a rubbery pork mask, are the exception to the rule. In adverts particularly, attractive people are often presented as tantalising prizes. They float through the world almost like angels, drawing admiring glances wherever they go. And unless you look like that, which statistically you probably don't, the unmistakable conclusion is that you don't match up. No wonder so many of us simply don't know what to do when we're confronted by people we fancy in real life.
Oh, she's really pretty. Oh, you should talk to her. Go on, say something suave like...
The most important part of a man's body is quite obviously his bum. Okay. Oh, that's good.
Of course, men aren't the only ones swayed by physical appearance. Apparently, the creatures known as women also get aroused by physically attractive males, although this wasn't discovered until 1983.
It's been shown in the past that many men have been aroused by such material, and we wanted to find out if women also responded in this manner. So we've developed this probe, which is designed to be inserted into the vagina.
And thus science deduced that when you insert a stiffened, rounded tube into a woman's vagina, she sometimes gets aroused. Odour also plays an important role in attraction. No one's going to love you if you smell like a tramp, unless you're doing it intentionally.
She's wearing Tramp, a fragrance created for her by Lanthric.
Yes, here we see an invitingly sensuous advert for some unfortunately titled Stinkwater.
Tramp, free and friendly, bold and exciting.
Hungry and homeless.
She's wearing Tramp and everybody loves her. Tramp by Lanthric. Shouldn't you wear it too?
Always keen to exploit human frailty, advertisers aren't shy about implying all you need to satisfy your biological urge to procreate or put an end to the painful loneliness of your existence is to invest in a product that will drive members of the opposite sex insensible with lust. Lynx commercials in particular employ less subtle imagery than Soviet propaganda, implying Lynx is essentially catnip for girls. Splash it round your carcass and women will flock towards you like plankton, wrestle you for a place in the bedroom and stop dead in their tracks to show you their pussies. Toothpaste is also excitingly depicted as a startlingly effective way to win the affections of a bit of desirable skycock.
It made her smile dynamite white, dynamite fresh. It got her noticed. That night, Cindy and Jim took off together. Her feet haven't touched the ground since.
Even chewing gum, traditional scourge of bus passengers, can bring couples together on a lonely, dusty road trip. I suppose chewing gum is a pretty good metaphor for most romance. After the initial burst of excitement, you soon find yourself just going through the motions, really, while your interest drains away, and then you end up spitting it out into a hanky. In adverts, characters tend to fall in love quickly because they've only got a lifespan of 30 seconds, whereas in real life it takes altogether longer than that because actual people tend to be more cautious than their fictional counterparts. A myth perpetuated by many televised romantic films is the notion of love at first sight, seen here in the mawkish romantic drama The Notebook, in which a becapped cock falls for a boobed cow in a bumper car. Just one glimpse of this woman and he instinctively knows in his gut she's the only one for him. Now, in real life, when you've met someone you like, you might tentatively try to catch their attention and fail. And at that point, you probably give up. But in the lunatic world of romantic cinema, the driven protagonist immediately asks his quarry out.
You want to dance with me?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't want to.
And when rejected, performs a grand gesture to impress her, in this case dangling perilously from a Ferris wheel.
Well, will you go out with me?
What? No!
Alright, well, you leave me no other choice then.
And blackmailing her into a date.
Okay, fine. I'll go out with you.
Yeah, looks quite romantic, but you know, conceptually it's only a hair's breadth away from threatening to saw your own thumb off with a bread knife if someone doesn't give you a blowjob. The grand gesture, as personified by John Cusack earnestly holding his boombox aloft in The Earnest Say Anything, or a pre-death Heath Ledger buffoonishly wooing Julia Stiles in 10 Things I Hate About You, demonstrates the depth of the hero's kooky affections and almost never fails to win over the mightily impressed girl. Even though most of the time grand gesture behaviour is almost indistinguishable from stalking. For instance, in shit-maudlin blockbuster Love Actually, Andrew Lincoln demonstrates his love for gorgeous boy Keira Knightley by turning up on her doorstep with an armful of idiot boards. Actually, that's nothing special to her. That's just how she remembers her lines on set.
It's carol singers.
It's harder to get away with a grand gesture in an office, so it's little wonder people often dither when it comes to actually acting on their desires. And dithering can drive you mad, taking over your brain to the point where it becomes the biggest story of the day.
And if you've just joined us, our top story tonight. Feeling the heat, decision time for infatuated office worker. Pressure is mounting on South London search engine optimisation specialist Oliver Hammond as he weighs up whether to ask attractive co-worker Siobhan Lane out for a drink. According to witnesses, interactions between the pair have become increasingly noticeable over the past week. But Hammond's window of opportunity is thought to be closing fast. Karen Itis has this.
From the outside, Pixelated Crow looks like any other web design company. It has windows, a door, and is constructed from bricks. But within these walls lurks the potential for sexual intercourse and possibly more between 31-year-old Oliver Hammond and 27-year-old Siobhan Lane. Despite his intentions being clear, Hammond has yet to take decisive action. The problem is one of interpretation. Many of Siobhan's responses, laughing at jokes, shared interest in novelty iPhone apps and regular exchange of one-line emails, could be nothing more than regulation workplace politeness.
Compounding the issue, little is known of Siobhan Lane's life outside the workplace.
Hammond has reportedly noted that her Facebook relationship status modifier has been left blank. Although there are photographs of her in a holiday setting with a man she seems intimate with, it's not clear whether he's a current boyfriend or simply an ex. Either way, this mystery man hasn't been tagged. Experts say Hammond is currently in danger of succumbing to inertia and finding himself with little prospect of access to Lane's sexual organs.
If Hammond makes his intentions clear, then he'll either be classified as a somewhat creepy annoyance, or, and this is what he'll be hoping for, his advances will be accepted and he'll find himself entering her pocket of intimacy. The danger comes if he fails to do anything and she places him in the friend zone.
It's an analysis the public agrees with.
My advice to him would be just to go for it, you know. He needs to get a move on, doesn't he? Crack down and pull his finger out and ask her out.
Whatever he decides, it's clear time is of the essence if Oliver Hammond is to have any hope whatsoever of dissipating the cloud of romantic failure currently gathering over his head. Karen Itis, South London.
Men seeking advice on how to win over a woman will find no shortage of role models on TV. Trouble is they're all dicks. For instance, in the epic multicoloured space opera Star Trek, Captain James T. Kirk repeatedly misinterpreted his mission statement, to boldly go where no man has gone before, as a green light to attempt to carve as many notches onto the captain's log as possible.
Kiss me.
It seemed the moment Kirk heard a female voice, he reached for his libido.
Captain Kirk! Where are you?
But unsubtle though Kirk's bold seduction technique was, there was no denying he often left women weak at the knees. What a role model! Meanwhile, in Movieland, another James, namely James Bond, repeatedly got away with the kind of on-the-job conduct that would earn anyone else an instant tribunal.
Look!
And his chat-up lines weren't just creaky, but delivered with all the simmering passion of a gruff sandwich toaster.
There's really nothing very much for us to do tonight. Or is there?
Nonetheless, he too was depicted as successful. Ooh, having sex with Roger Moore must be like having an old tree fall on you. As far as TV's concerned, however, when it comes to dating, you shouldn't act like 007, more like 00 tit.
I absolutely adore brunettes, but not blondes. But then again, a lot of blondes aren't really, are they? If you know what I mean.
Thanks for that. What's your favourite Keats poem? Yes, most dating shows are more profoundly depressing than live footage of screaming ducklings being kicked uncomprehending face first into a mincing machine. Take the pioneeringly raucous dating show Blind Date, in which Cilla Black, played here by Ronald McDonald's aunt, played matchmaker to various ghastly prospective f***ies, generally a trio of appalling human wangs perched on improbably high stools like the world's 3 dimmest parrots, striving for the attention of a giggly haircut with all the charisma of the Bhopal disaster in front of a studio audience apparently primed to shriek and squawk like a busload of 9-year-old choristers plunging over a cliff every time any of the participants uttered anything approaching a comprehensible vowel.
You and me, we make it whoopee.
We make it. It's funny because they're old.